Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today we have a solid news week with some awesome games dropping, updates to existing games, and finally Meta is gearing up to show off some incredible new tech. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but for now we'll start things off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. Well, elephant in the room, I got this nice little shiner up here. I took a tumble this weekend playing with my dog and my kid. Kid jumped on my back, my head hit concrete. Yeah, not a fun time. A little tequila was involved. So yeah, I'm damaged goods. I won't be playing in VR for a couple of days until this heals. But I do have a World War Z video dropping tomorrow if you're interested in that game. And it's going to drop right after the VR game showcase, which I'm also live streaming because I know this is going to be a good one. I've been talking about some secrets that I really want to share with you guys. So definitely join tomorrow. Subscribe right now, turn notifications on. Join me for the live stream tomorrow, and I'll finally start revealing my big secrets of what I've been working on. But for now, let's get into this week's new releases. This up is a sequel to one of my favorite VR tower defense titles, Iron Guard. Iron Guard Salvation plans to keep that addictive gameplay intact while just increasing all other aspects of the title. There's a ton of new story-driven content, levels, enemies, weapons, power-ups, and it leans a bit more into the real-time strategy genre with the introduction of some hero special abilities. Iron Guard has been a hidden gem for me for quite some time. I just randomly picked it up on a whim years ago and then proceeded to spend an hour or two in the game every night for about 4 weeks straight. I was blown away by the sheer amount of content and just how addictively rewarding this game felt. So I'm definitely pumped to give Salvation a try and see how much they've improved from the original title. Now, for those of you who aren't sick of VR zombie shooters, we're also getting World War Z this week. Inspired by both the flat game and existing franchise, World War Z plans to deliver those massive 100+ enemies on screen hordes of zombies. Now, like I said, I'm going to be dropping a video on this game tomorrow, so I'll definitely let you know how I feel about the game. Now, next up, we have a truly interesting, yet rather generic first-person shooter to go over. Now, what makes this title unique is the fact that 1, it's developed in WebXR, and 2, you can actually access it from the Meta store page. Now, unlike projects developed in Unity and Unreal, WebXR applications don't require a download, and you could simply go to the website to access them. Now, this isn't exactly new. I've tried multiple different WebXR applications over time, but to my knowledge, this is the first one that was ever added to the Meta storefront. Now, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this. Meta's front page is already overrun by generic homemade Horizon worlds, and the last thing I want to see is an influx of mobile web apps. And this makes me wonder about the approval process on both those web games and Horizon Worlds content. Content is definitely king here, and if we want to elevate the VR platform, we can't fill the storefront with generic Gorilla Tag clones. But on the topic of elevating the MetaQuest storefront, I was extremely happy to hear that the absolutely fantastic game Arken Age is making its way onto the MetaQuest. Now, I've played through this on the PlayStation VR 2, and it definitely has some Game of the Year potential. There's excellent ranged and melee combat. The enemy AI keeps combat fun because you never really know what to expect, and I loved both the weapon crafting system and the truly beautiful, unique world they created for this game. So as long as we get a solid port, this could be easily one of the best games we get on the MetaQuest this year. And finally, in the game news, if you're a fan of the tabletop simulator All on Board, but you were looking for new content, well, we just got their new roadmap. For starters, they have a brand new 6-player card game available called I, Dark Overlord. They've also introduced the Learning Hub, which is there for people to figure out how to play these games, which is perfect because it's the only complaint I had about this title. I unfortunately was not familiar with a lot of the board games available, and it really helps when you have someone who could show you the ropes. Now, following the roadmap all the way until spring, we're getting 3 more free games and 3 more paid DLCs. Now, overall, I hope this game is doing well because it is a niche inside of a niche. We're talking about board game players who also use VR, so it's probably pretty hard for this game to find an audience, but I'm sure adding new titles will only help. Now, moving into hardware news, it looks like the Windows mixed reality headsets could be making a comeback. No, we're not getting a new HP Reverb G3 or a new Odyssey headset, but it looks like functionality may be returning to those Windows mixed reality headsets in the near future, thanks to the upcoming Oasis driver. Now, if you're unaware, Microsoft stopped supporting Windows mixed reality headsets all the way back in 2024. Windows 11 version 24H2 officially removed Windows mixed reality support. Now, the Oasis driver, with a tentative release date of August 29th, should bring full functionality back to these headsets. Unfortunately though, at the moment, only NVIDIA GPUs are supported, and it doesn't look like that'll change anytime soon. Now, overall, this is a very noble and cool project, but with just how quickly the VR technology is improving, I'm not sure anyone really wants to go ahead and dust off their HP Reverb G2. But maybe I'm wrong, and there's plenty of people longing to use those headsets once again. But since I mentioned how quickly the VR tech is increasing, it's the perfect time to jump into our final topic, and that's new hardware coming from Meta. Now, it looks like they're gearing up to start showing things off. We've been hearing more and more about 2 prototype headsets, and Meta Connect is right around the corner. When it comes to Meta Connect, I don't think we're going to get any game showcases or much VR itself. However, it looks like those glasses with the built-in display will be showcased, and they're also going to be showcasing the armband that reads your stimulation, your muscle stimulation, and allows you to control things in your display. So right there, I'm pumped. It looks like that's the main thing they're going to be showing off. Maybe a few more little surprises here and there when it comes to Connect. Unfortunately, I miss the days when they used to do a gaming showcase and they were much more, VR oriented, but we knew this was their end goal. We knew they're going into that mainstream tech. And honestly, after spending a year plus with my Meta Ray-Bans that I fell in love with, I'm absolutely pumped for this technology. It just adds something to your life that you didn't know you needed. The ability to just read messages hands-free, record hands-free, have that AI you can access. I've used it for walking directions while I'm in foreign countries. I could sit there and read my messages or hear my message back to me while I'm traveling. So I don't have to take out my phone and kind of like lose my alertness, especially if I'm in a dangerous or just foreign country. So like it adds a lot. Now, once you give that a display and this new control, I am pumped. I honestly think Meta is going to bring out the big guns with this. And we know their Ray-Ban sales are definitely surpassing their Quest sales. So they're going to push harder and harder in that direction. But they're not giving up in VR. These 2 prototype headsets that I've previously talked about a little bit actually show that Meta is looking to push VR as far as possible. Now, we previously heard, oh, the Quest 4 is canceled. And that's not officially a true statement. I'm going to do a full video on that topic, but they're still working on VR. And Meta tends to have lots of different prototypes going, and they go through multiple stages and they get canceled along the way. But right now they want to see which avenue is the best to push as hard as possible and how much impact does that have. So should we be going super wide FOV with 180 degrees, which is one of their prototype headsets? And unlike a lot of other headsets that have tried this, they end up getting giant and clunky like the Pimax headsets. They also have a Fresnel lens or a spherical lens, which just doesn't look great. Gives a lot of warping and glare around the edges. So you don't get the major benefit of that super wide FOV. Well, their new design loses a completely different display. It's got a small form factor like a Quest and gives you that full FOV, which is going to be wild. And then they also have another display which aims for near photorealism. But at minimum, even if these prototypes never come out, they help Meta learn not only what is the best way to proceed for the future, but also what factors they can cut out or limit to make the best overall headset. It doesn't matter if you love or hate Meta, you have to admit the fact that they've given us the best all-in-one package at an excessively reasonable price. So stay tuned for the next few weeks, guys. We're going to be hearing a lot more news. And that right there was today's video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We're really close to 100,000. I'm hoping to get there this year. I think it'll happen. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.